continue into the interview series of the people within my absolutely phenomenal voiceover community that I'm privileged to be a part of. We talk today with Morgan Taylor. Morgan is a phenomenal voice actor. She has been such a wealth of knowledge, such a generous person with the things that she's been able to unlock about this entire industry. And those things, while she says herself she is still learning all of this, she's open to helping pull people forward and draw them towards the level that she is in her performances. I had the privilege of sitting in on one of her displays of this, her coaching sessions that she did with our group, where she offered amazing feedback and specific notes for each individual voice that did a read within it. And those tools, that the things I was able to equip to my tool belt, have exponentially helped me within my own reads, within auditions, within anything that comes my way. Morgan is so funny, so invitational, and just absolutely caring of the people around her. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. Editing back through it was an absolute pleasure and a blast, and I laughed to myself in this booth right here seconds ago while I was finishing up the final touches on it. Just because reliving that, it was such a fun conversation for me. So I hope you enjoy that. Without further ado, Morgan. I'm just kind of winging it. Genuinely, I mean this from the depths of my being. Morgan, oh my God, you're going to be on this episode of the podcast. I'm like crazy excited to have you in here.
I'm excited too. I think you're just the best. You have the best energy and heart. You're so genuine. I'm just happy to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm an actor, so all of it's a facade. None of this is real. None of it.
Damn good then. You're a damn good actor.
Authenticity, the only city I want to be a member of.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, Morgan, I had a list of like people within our little scrappy collective who like I met at the very start of this, and you were the most wonderfully, and I mean this, wonderfully terrifying person when I first jumped into this group.
Terrifying?
Like in a wonderful way. You pulled me out of my little introverted shell where I wanted to sit in the sidelines in the background and like be a like not creepy lurker, but just sort of hang out like, you guys have fun. I'm just going to be over here.
Yeah,
and you were like,
here.
You were just like, Andrew, what do you think about this? And I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to have thoughts. And you said, no, they're valuable. Get in here. So I'm just all kinds of geeked to have you on this podcast episode.
That's so sweet. I love introverts. I like gravitate to them, but I don't really feel like you're an introvert to me. Do you think you're an introvert?
Genuinely, I very much am in like my everyday life, and when I'm around the right people, like I'm a people dependent.
Your true self. Yeah.
Yes.
See, that's how my husband is. People think he's really shy, but literally he's the biggest goober lip I've ever met in my life. And he's like that too. So I get that.
And I want to throw this out just because I'm curious, and because I'm curious and we're in the midst of recording, this question comes out like this. Is your husband home soon? Are you going to get to see him soon?
He's leaving in like 4 hours from Turkey. He should be here this weekend.
Are you hecking kidding me?
It's been a month delayed. A month. He should have been here May 9th.
But, like, I'm getting to... Like, that's exciting.
I know. I'm so excited. So I might go MIA for a little bit, but... I'm so pumped.
Yeah, understandably so.
Almost a 10-month deployment.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm from a military family, and
you get it.
Yeah,
you get it.
Absolutely understand.
It's hard.
Very much.
Yep, but we're almost there.
You're almost there, and you, my God, like, I'm flattered that you were like, you know what? I'll take time out of my crazy, like, having things going on.
I'm trying to pack my days in. Selfish reasons I'm here, Andrew. I don't like you at all.
Beautiful, wonderful. I love hearing that, honestly. So, kind of for the benefit of the podcast, winging it. We all do winging it, and I want to know all about that. But first, I want to know, because you are freaking slaying in the voiceover industry. So I want to know, how did you tiptoe into the world that is VO? How'd you get started here? When did you get started here even?
So I started auditioning probably, I guess now, like November of 2021. So like a year ago? Wait, I don't know math. It's like a year and a half ago I started auditioning.
Oh my god.
Um,
That's
and yeah, I haven't been doing it long. I did radio for 10 years and it was just a very toxic environment. Not most of my career, not really until I got a little bit all of my career. You just don't recognize like you're being like, it's like Stockholm syndrome kind of,
yeah.
Um, but when I reflect, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I really shouldn't have stayed in that for that long. But I was doing radio out here like in El Paso, New Mexico, and it was just a really bad situation. I was getting really like mental health was at an all-time low. So I started like my mentor back home, who's like this radio legend in my hometown and in the state of Georgia. He's been doing it like 40 years. He's amazing. You would love him. He was like, you should just like start on Voice 123. I got a couple bookings out of there, maybe make some extra income because I just got tired of making like, it wasn't even the money at the end of the day because like I was prepared to be in radio and knowing I was just going to be living like paycheck to paycheck my whole life, but I was fine because I was happy and I liked the craft. But then it became like making $28,000 a year doing 7 different jobs, like 3-4 radio shows, toxic coworkers, getting bullied, then being the production or the promotions manager, then selling radio. I was like, this is getting too much. So like I got booked day 1 on Voice 123. I'm very lucky. I don't know. Like I know people are like, you've worked so hard. I'm like, okay, kinda, but I also just got booked right away. And who knows? I don't know if I would have lasted 2 months because like if I wasn't making money, I wouldn't have known if I would have had the time working my full-time job. So I say I'm lucky on how I got started. Now, lots of work to maintain and be where I am now. But initially, it was luck and just like being in a demographic of like young female 18 to 35, just knowing already how to do a conversational read coming from morning radio and not having to like, remove some radio tendencies. Sometimes I still do slip into an announcer, but it was just luck. So I just started auditioning. And by my second month, I was making more in voiceover than my full-time job. And so I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I really enjoy voiceover. I'm now like kind of neglecting radio because I'm just so excited to audition. Like I would go into work, audition after my morning show, work my full-time job, come back, audition some more. So I was like 12 plus hour days just auditioning and like getting the feel. And then I just had this like God universe moment where I just felt like I needed to jump ship. And I did it very abruptly and impulsively, but no regrets.
Yeah.
Because a year and 2 months later being full-time, it's just completely changed my life. So that's like the Cliff Notes version. Radio pivoted me into it, but it was pay to plays is where I got my full start.
So day 1, like you got on there, you
Yeah.
threw in an audition, and suddenly you booked a job off of that?
Yeah, like within minutes. It was weird. I was like, what the? It was like, or it was the same day. Yeah, it was a very small Microsoft gig. It was like $150 internal. And then I made like $1,000 in that first month. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And the same thing happened on Voices. The first day I was on Voices, which I didn't join until a couple days later. I got booked twice in my first. It was weird. I know that doesn't
Yeah.
happen. You can still there are people even more talented than me that don't get booked on their first day. But it was a lot of luck in the beginning. Not luck now. I'm very proud of the work
Yeah.
I put in because I haven't just like, I'm not just auditioning to make money. Like I'm really understanding the industry. I'm trying to do it correctly. I know rates now. I know $150 internal gig is not really what you should be quoting. But initially, if you got to put food on your table,
Yeah.
you got to build that client list. I don't regret it.
For
So,
sure.
yeah.
And like, I'm curious, was there ever a point of view at that time where you were like, you know what? Voiceover's easy. Like when you went in, suddenly you're like $1,000 in the first month. This is going to be an easy little gig.
I mean, sometimes it feels like when when you book a job off of an audition and you're like, shit,
You're
shoot,
good.
I don't gotta do anything else. That's it. That feels weird. But it felt easy and just like momentum was crazy at first. I don't know if it felt easy. It was a lot of work in terms of like consistency, but as I've gone on, it is not easy. As
Yeah.
you have to deal with like, imposter syndrome and like rejection and all the no's. That's been the most challenging, and like the comparison game, no matter how talented you are, when someone gets a job you audition for that you really want, it still kind of hurts. Even
Yeah.
if it's your friend, you're still like, oh darn. But I don't know. I don't know if it was easy. It just felt very quick and very fast.
Yeah.
But I was hustling so hard, you
For
know?
sure. And
But
the
I was
cool
definitely motivated by the instant like bookings at first, for
uh,
sure.
I
To be
mean,
transparent.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the microwave era. Instant gratification is our second name now.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah. I
curious,
got
like,
hooked.
was hang on, it was there. Whoa, come back to
Mhm.
me. Come back to me, thought. Where did it go? Oh no, this happens a lot right now. And
No, it's okay.
it's new. Uh hang on, I'm gonna just quick walk through.
Yep.
You went to the thing, you did the thing,
Mhm.
you threw in the thing, and then you started doing it. You did not come into this with absolute ground zero, no, like I imagine 10 years in radio, you had a lot of comfort around the
Y-
technology, behind a
yes.
microphone, being
That's why I
yourself.
think auditioning was so much easier because I'm used to just kind of ripping and reading too, and I still kind of audition very quickly. Sometimes that works against me, but it hasn't really. I, I'm able to audition very fast. Like I can knock out 30 auditions in an hour, maybe. Like it's just because I come from an era of like, all right, here's this breaking story. All right, Morgan, something just happened. What are we doing? And I could just kind of like go with it. Um, but I also think if I had gone from like solo show to voiceover, I would have been too announcery. I think being on a morning show and knowing how to talk to someone the way I'm talking to you and being like, like, hey, El Paso, all right, this is the weather forecast today. Coming up for today's top stories, like stuff like that, being on a morning show with another person really helped ground my delivery.
Yeah.
I think I think it would have been a lot harder to shake some of the old radio like announcery vibes if I hadn't. But definitely like editing in Adobe, I feel for people who really take time to learn Adobe because I have 10 years of editing experience. That helps, and that will speed up your audition process.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that definitely helped.
Very
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
I've known about your radio background, and
Mhm.
obviously, or not obviously to anybody in this, because we're interested anyway. I was blown away by just how you coached and taught and helped so many people within the group, myself
Oh,
included,
thanks.
for this real person read and how you can be more of yourself and
Mhm.
describing the sounds and everything that you bring to the microphone, like that kind of uh almost Gen Z vocal fry thing that kind of is
Yeah.
what people want right now.
Yeah.
So where do you think that knowledge, that wisdom, that ability to just offer that advice came from, like the radio thing, or is it like what the last year has been like, boom, I found this thing, I've cracked this code and this is working, let me show you
Y-
guys.
yeah, I think it's yeah, it's not radio. I don't even never even thought I would be able to articulate how to do it. I still think sometimes it's hard, but no, that's just from like recognizing what I do when like I'm in a session and people like clients will say it's so cool to watch me do it because I'm so animated and every ounce of my face is moving. Even though it is a conversational read, like it's like it takes a lot of effort to do that in a sense, right? To be nuanced and stuff. So I think it's just like observing what people have said about myself and trying to get people to get to that place too. So that's why I don't charge. I'm not charging anytime soon because I'm like, I've only been doing this a year. I'm by no means like an expert yet. I'm just trying to articulate what I think works for me.
Well,
So
and it's articulated so well in my
thank you.
experience, because
That's sweet.
what's fun is, like, recently
Yeah.
I was in a little workshop thing with a casting director, and it was phenomenal fun. It was like
Yeah.
each person in here got the chance to read some copy and we got feedback, and they kept giving everybody, and in some ways it was great for some of the deliveries, but others it did, I felt like it took away
Yeah.
from
It
some
didn't
of it.
click.
Like, well, but
Yeah.
what the casting director was saying is, I want you to stand up. I want you to be a standing person. I want you to take your headphones on, and that's going to help you hit more of your authentic self. And in my mind, I was like, the time I did feel my most authentic self is when I shifted my chair this way
Yes.
and just sort of
Yeah.
lounged and was like, this is me actually being this is
Yeah.
what I do when I'm talking to my
Yeah.
friends. So why wouldn't it work?
Sometimes standing up, like I will stand up in sessions a lot, but then sometimes I have to sit down if I'm just feeling like I'm not hitting it or not getting like I will sit back down.
Yeah.
So it just you know what it feels like when it's feeling. You can kind of tell when you're hitting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone always says stand up for animation and video games, which I can kind of agree with that. But commercial, it's just really when you feel you're most comfortable.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now commercial is the thing you do the most, is that correct?
I mean, I do a lot of commercial, but I get just as many like explainer videos and stuff.
That makes sense.
I would say it's like 50-50, but I do get a lot of commercial. Not necessarily national campaigns right now, but
I'm sure they're coming. I'm sure they're
Yes.
coming.
I did get booked for an Ashley Furniture national campaign recently, so that's gonna be fun. Thank you. But I do a lot of, it's really just like conversational, friendly vibes. That's just kind of my whole thing and what I think works for me right now. Because I don't do a lot of e-learning yet. I want to. I've done a few projects, like bulk e-learning, not just like modules or something short. But yeah, commercial and like explainer type tech videos for sure.
Yeah. And that leads me to, and I'm sorry, I'm diverting away from the question
No,
list
it's okay.
I sent you already because
No,
I'm
you're
like,
fine.
Morgan can handle this.
Yeah.
I can't help but hear.
I love it.
I'm curious what's your target voiceover, I guess, kind of pie in the sky, big dream goals?
Oh, I mean, I would love to get on like, an animated series or a AAA game or just I have something coming up that's under NDA right now. It's a video game and it's my first like playable character and I'm really excited about that cuz it's a big indie game.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, but it's a unique project too. But I would love to get like a staple character job, whatever that looks like. Anything that involves just playing a part, like acting, anything, or being the voice of a brand, like
Yeah.
a known brand like Volkswagen or something like that. That's of course the dream. It's what we all want.
Yeah, we want that thing that we're just able to pick up, consistently do, get paid the money that we need to live, and maybe even travel around the world a bit.
Yes, I would love to do an audio drama too, like be a character in an audio drama. Because you
Ooh.
kind of be more grounded playing a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your
that'd be fun.
favorite audio drama?
I don't actually listen to them. I'm gonna be honest. I've just auditioned for them a ton, and I always have fun auditioning for them because it's like being in a soap opera almost, like audio wise. I wish I could say I knew. I know that's probably like shame on me, but
Not at all.
I just love auditioning for them.
I love that so much myself because I'm in the same boat.
You're like, I don't listen, but I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm reaching out to people on LinkedIn and I'm like, you said you're starting an audio drama. Do you need voices for it? I think I could be your voice. Do you want this guy?
Yep.
I could be myself for you. That's what all you're looking for is
love it.
humans.
Yes. I got shortlisted for this like Meet Cute one, and it's actually called Meet Cute. And the director wanted my contact, and then I panicked because I didn't want to give it on Voices because, they don't like you. So I was like, can we stay on platform? And I think it ruined it for me because they just read my message. And then I tried to find them, and yeah. But it's okay. It wasn't meant to be.
Hey,
but it was like a rom-com audio drama, and that was a fun script.
Oh,
That was
man.
fun.
I can't help but see your board in the background of
Yes.
dreams and visions.
Yes. I have a lot on there. I've had to take some things off. The vision boards work. I'm a big manifester.
You
for
took it
sure.
off because it came true, or
Yeah. I wanted to
That's- That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
Mine is still filled,
pretty
and
cool.
it's gonna get things removed. I'm
Yes,
gonna
it will.
keep at it.
I already know it. You're just one job away, Andrew. We all are really, but I just know something big is about to come your way. Whatever that looks like, it's going to take you to a different level.
Oh, I
Just a matter of
appreciate.
time.
Yes, absolutely. One of my recent auditions, I'm like, I'm sending it, I'm forgetting it, but I'm also thinking
It's
about it
so
a little.
hard. Oh my god, I had one yesterday, and it's for something really big, and I was like, I know everyone. There are people that have like 25 characters under their belt that are auditioning for this, But I'm thinking about it too, Andrew. Like, what if?
Yeah.
What if it was me?
I've already forgotten it, but I still
Yeah,
know it's
but not
there.
really. It
Yep.
keeps me up at night. I'll forget about it in a week. It's
Yep.
fine.
Yep. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of finding other things to pay attention
Yeah.
to.
And then I'll cry when I see someone I know got it. And I'm like, fudge me, fudge me.
I'm so happy for you, friend.
Yeah, I hate myself.
You are. No, you're wonderful. I love the work
Thank
you
you.
do. I love you just getting to
Thank
hang
you.
out and chit chat.
Me too.
So in the world of all of this, I
Mhm.
know I've heard, like, we have talked within the group, and obviously this is a podcast all about winging it. So tell me about, w- is it voiceover? Is it something else? Tell me about a time where you felt like you were kind of winging it.
I have one very like unique situation that I'll tell you, and then one very like kind of broad. I think the whole winging it happened the day I quit my job with like no business plan put together,
Ooh,
and someone who
yeah.
I thought was my mentor was like, well, it was my boss at the time, like, well, do you have an LLC? Well, do you know about taxes? Well, what are you going to do if this happens? Do you know how hard it is to run your own business? And I was like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out because I feel like I'm already making more than what you're paying me and I'm a lot happier. So I feel like it's so easy to want to go out and Tash, who's in our Discord, just posted about this. And I've said this, I say this all the time. Don't be tempted to go out and just like spend your money on having everything together, like the fanciest microphone or the fanciest coaching package or like the fanciest studio, right? Like I am in a closet right now. The noise floor is probably not that great. It's got me national campaigns. Like really it's about winging it in terms of knowing you can take the steps of having a successful business step by step, month by month. Like I didn't do quarterly taxes until I was making X amount a month. I didn't get the LLC until I was doing quarterly taxes. I didn't have the Excel spreadsheet until I was getting not enough room on the notes app on my phone. I didn't get the MK416 until I was like 7-8 months in, knowing I could like take care of it financially. I don't have the fanciest studio. Andrew, your noise floor is probably better than mine. Just looking at it, I have a lot of road noise, but I know how to treat it. I know how to deal with it. I know what I can do in editing to make it better. It's just take it day by day and you will know when it's time to do the next step. Like you don't have to have a PowerPoint presentation of your business plan. You don't have to have the best tax person right away. Just know like the fundamentals, know what you need to do and take it day by day. Because when I quit my job, I had no plan. I just knew I wasn't going to go hungry. I had a roof over my head. I was going to be okay if this failed. And I think that's the big thing. Like really look at your surroundings. Like I'm very blessed and privileged, like having another income with my husband in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what it'd be like if I had to worry about health insurance because I don't have to do that. So it was a lot easier to wing it. But the business and all the tedious stuff that I think people get overwhelmed with, like direct marketing, I've just started doing that now. And I've been doing it a year. I would encourage people to explore that early on. But it's just taking it day by day. The second time I winged it was like a couple weeks ago. And I got a call back through an agent booking for a character for a commercial. And I was excited because it's my first character callback, even though it wasn't like a series. It was for a commercial though, but I got to be a puppet. And I loved my audition. I was like floored. So this was a virtual callback and they wanted a standing slate. I was like, I don't even know what that is. So I figured out what that was before.
Did you
But I
Google?
went into this, yeah, and I asked a friend. And I went into this character callback not knowing I've never done a virtual callback before. It was like another live, it was like doing a live audition. And I get into the room with like this other actor, like you're in a waiting room and they get you sent over. And I'm just like sitting there like, I don't even know if I'm in the right place. I think I am. Like they're talking to me. Okay. And then they go and they're like, all right, slate. And I'm like with another actor. Didn't even know I was going to be reading with him. And I'm waiting for him to slate, not realizing, oh wait, he's probably already been in here a couple times reading with other females. I need to slate. So like 15 seconds go by and I'm like, Morgan Taylor, El Paso, Texas. And I will say it affected my audition because I was just so overwhelmed with like, oh, okay, I can't see the casting people, but I see the actor. And it's just me. Okay, so I'm just going off of you and we're on Zoom. This is weird. I didn't get the job. I kind of had a feeling like I had slipped up a couple times. Like I was just so overwhelmed. But I winged it and I survived. And now guess what? I know what to expect in the next virtual callback. But that
Yeah.
was so overwhelming. I just freaking winged it. I tried to pretend as much as I could. I knew what I was doing. I did not. But I winged it, and we here, and we're survived. So,
I
yeah.
I genuinely that like I've heard so many winging it stories at this point with all of
Yeah.
the people who I've been so gracious in the information they gave me or the stories they've told me, and that's the first one to my recollection of like I winged it and did not
Yeah, it didn't work out.
did not work out, but
It's
you know what?
okay.
You fix that wing and you just keep moving forward.
Yes, because now I'm so much more confident where if I had another virtual callback, I am so prepared to what to do. So it's a blessing.
Yes.
And guess what? Yes, that was like a callback is a win too, in my opinion. And I just know that callback was one validation. I'm on the right track with my character
Yes.
work so far. And now I had this experience that taught me so much. Because I remember my first live directed session, I was a mess. And it took forever because I was just so nervous. I didn't know what ABC was. I was just pretending. I would be like, okay. And I would also ask questions. I had another directed session with that same client now a year and a half later. And they were praising me. They kind of remembered working with me before. But they were like, yeah, you're so good. Like, wow. And I was like, because I've had that experience now. And live sessions don't terrify me the way they used to. So it's like, one, winging it where it's changed my life completely. A second, winging it where I didn't get to the final destination, but I learned, and I'm so confident going forward
Yeah.
what to expect.
And that second one still changes your life completely. Like those moments are
Yes.
so important to mess up and pick
Yeah.
up and say, you know what? Yeah, that sure. I'll sit and like I felt whatever way about that, whether I was embarrassed or just felt a little like I let myself down. And I'm saying all that, but like realistically, no, you
Yeah.
learned and learning. Like I hate when people put somebody down for their experiences when they're in the midst of learning something. Like
No.
that was a heck of a and on top of that, also huge win to get a callback. Like that's
Yeah, for
so
sure.
good. So good.
And I don't know. I just think we all have to be humbled. We need humility in this industry. We have, whether that's someone you can go to that's really going to tell you how it is, whether it's experiences like you have to put yourself in vulnerable positions in order to grow. If you're not, you got to check yourself. We need humility constantly. I think it makes us better actors, better performers, just better people. And I'm grateful for it. I cringe sometimes because when I first walked out of that callback, I was like, oh, that was pretty good. And then I was like, I'm still like 2 weeks later going, oh, shoot. No, you kind of did some things. It's fine. But grateful moving forward.
Yeah, that's that. I feel
Yeah.
like that's more the vibe of like the send it and forget it. You send it.
Yes.
You have your feelings about it. Don't feel like you have to completely ignore who you were in that moment. Like I deliver every audition with the thought of this is the final product. I need to give it my best. So I'm not going to walk away from that and just be like, well, okay, moving on. Like I am
Yep.
gonna feel things about that, and that's okay.
Absolutely. It's hard not to. But you definitely can't dwell and let it affect your confidence. So,
For sure. I
keep
love
trucking.
that. Like that's yeah, that's huge because it reminds me kind of a quick soliloquy when I was working in banking. Like I was a trainer and I was going for a training manager position, and they asked me, if you were to give us like what is your elevator pitch for you to be training
Oh,
manager?
that's stressful.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Your boy never went to business school. This was the
You're
first
like,
business.
what's that?
Genuinely, I asked them, I was like, that's great. I want to let you know everything about that. In fact, I have a great answer for that, but could you let me know what's an elevator pitch? And
Bless you
They
for
laughed.
asking.
they laughed. I didn't get that job. And as I fumbled through the answer, I was like, that makes more sense. Cool. And then I like gave some answer, but at that point embarrassed because I'm like, I feel like an idiot. I'm in a business place and I don't know what the hell an elevator pitch is.
You know, one thing though I commend you for doing, which is I'm always about doing, which I actually probably would have helped if I'd asked more questions in that last callback. because it's never gonna you're not gonna be stupid. At least you can like give them exactly what they're expecting. That you ask the question, because
Yeah,
that's humility there in itself.
for sure. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think I'm a
I
pretty
think so
humble
too.
guy.
I think so too. And another employer could have seen that as a strength. Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. He doesn't know.
And honestly,
We asked.
I was trying to be funny the whole way through it because when have you ever known me to not try and make a joke out of
That's right.
something?
That's true. That's true.
It- it-
Andrew with the dad jokes.
but I think that's why I was embarrassed afterwards is because it didn't get any chuckles. And I'm like, well, how
Yeah,
does
they were just
nobody
like,
find this funny?
they're too stiff. They're too corporate-y. You didn't need that.
Yes. So when you were doing all this, you came out of radio, you came into this.
Mhm.
I I don't know when this happened. How'd you get an agent? You have an agent who helped you get these character things, got you this callback. Tell me a bit about what it was like finding and getting an agent.
So I sent my demo first to Jay Purvis out of Atlanta, which I'm no longer with. I think they're a great talent agency. They're just not as VO focused as I would like. And I urge people to really do research and find like either strictly VO agencies or ones that like actively promote that they do voiceover. Like check Instagrams and see like do they ever post about VO? Do they ever mention, do they have like an agent that's like noticeable on the website that strictly work? Because not all agents are VO focused, and that's
Yeah.
okay, right? Like
Yeah.
Jay Purvis is great for on screen if you ever wanted to pursue that. But I did a self-made demo of just my samples with utilizing my like radio skills, but Access was probably the bigger one. That was my first one.
Mm.
And because now I'm with Access Wayman out of the Midwest, and then Shepherd, which is a voiceover agency out of Austin. And Access, I sent a homemade demo. It was just samples of my work. And I just submitted it to like the projects, like their main on their website where they say you do some submissions, and hopped on a call and got signed.
Wow.
But it was really just like I've always been very strategic about when to go to there, because I think it can be very like I made sure I had a website. I made sure I had a couple big names to go into my demo, a couple links to direct them that were like recognizable names. I do think that helps. So I was strategic. I was like, I'm not going to reach out to an Access until I have a full-blown website up. And I do stand by that. You don't need a $2,500 demo. I didn't get a professionally produced demo until just a month ago. But you do need good work that's going to get their attention and make you stand out, I think.
Yeah. So your samples
So-
were booked work that you put into samples and
Yes.
sent? Okay.
Like it was Ford Sync, it was Amazon. So I had like some heavy hitter bookings. And they
Mhm.
weren't broadcast, by the way. Those were just online campaigns, but it just showed what I could do. And it was in my wheelhouse. And I just put it together and sent it. And Roger gave me a shot. And with Wayman and Shepherd, I waited to get more representation after my professionally produced demo. And I got signed with them by just, again, going to the submissions page, finding the email and submitting. I
Yeah.
didn't have and my ear blowing audio is the one that did my demo, and he really helped me know like look into these agencies. He was really great with like
That's Eric Romanowski.
yeah. He was he did a great demo. I asked him, should I be submitting here? And he was like, yeah, they're great people. So it's like to find people that you know are with like agents that are VO focused, get opinions, ask their
Yeah.
experiences. Because I think some people get so caught up in just representation, but it's not going to help you at all if it's not with someone who even knows who you are. Or like,
Uh-huh.
I know my agents now like are focused on VO. I'm getting unique auditions. I know I'm getting listened to, especially with Access. Because I mean, I've been with them longer. I've just been with Wayman and Shepherd, not even a month. But like Access has been like we banter every audition I get. Thanks, got it, love it, or hey, try this again. That is so important for our egos and like our growth to have people in your corner that you know are fighting for you once you send that audition.
For sure. And it's fun because I need to take mental note on this because I want my commercial demo this year. I don't have an official commercial demo right now, and
Yeah.
I want it. So I'm like, oh, am I going to? I'm in that research phase of like looking at all the different
Yeah.
demo production places. And that is something I've never I've never thought of discussing with the demo producers, like, what are some agents that I might be able to work with, or do you know of some people who, so on after
Yeah.
this? Because
Always
that's,
ask questions with anyone. People know, and like if a demo producer knows an agent, it's because they probably have like communicated, which means that agent probably is VO focused. If he
yeah,
knows who he or she knows who they are or them, like it just all depends.
I love that. See, I love
Yeah.
doing these interviews, not just because I get to learn about my friends so much more,
Yeah.
but I get so many good business tips from these things
Yes.
in big
Cuz
ways.
it's so true. You just get so excited. You go to any agency in any big city or any city and you're like, "Oh, they have a VO department." No, no, no. Just because they have it doesn't mean they're actually focused on it.
I've sent a
So
lot of
be
those emails.
strategic.
I got
Yeah,
booked with an agent who is not
that's
solely
good.
I love that they booked me, and I
Yeah.
love that they have sent me some jobs. But in my year with them, I have gotten maybe 5 opportunities that were actual
Yeah.
opportunities from them. So
Yeah.
no hate, like I got an agent. I got my demo got me booked with an agent, and that's great. But I'm not getting enough auditions. So it's like
Yeah.
I need to expand that reach and get
Yep.
more agency representation.
Yep.
So for
That's
sure.
the whole goal is just getting your hands on as many auditions as you can. Like
Yeah.
like that big one I had yesterday. I was like, I'm just grateful I got an audition for this. Like what? So I agree. Just get your hands on as many as you can.
Celebrate where you can, get your hands on
Hmm.
things. Yes. So you came from re- radio to voiceover to getting an agent, and you've talked a little bit about this of like, get yourself out there, just do these things. What How do you know when you're ready for like that next level? Like you've hit that point, you maybe not hit a wall, but you've plateaued and just need to reach that next level now.
See, that's where I felt lately because I want more agent work. Like I've gotten booked twice with Access and then that one callback. And I've gotten booked. I'm with Big Fish Talent in Denver. They're very small,
Mm-hmm.
and I got booked once there. But I'm like, what am I missing? Like, what I'm pursuing now. Going to go get real coaching with like Tina Moralsko and like some casting directors. But I think I knew I was ready because I had proof in the pudding too. Like for that next step. Like, okay, I'm booking a lot now. I have plenty of work. I think it's time. One thing I've been thinking about is management. I don't think I'm quite ready there. I'm quite ready for that. I want to give my new representation a shot. But I think it's just being realistic. And I know I wish I could say, like, you'll just know. No, it's so easy to throw your money in a million directions in this industry on every workshop. Really pay attention to the, like, proof is in the pudding. If
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting booked, maybe hold off on getting that studio bricks. Maybe invest in some really good coaching and like workshops. And then, okay, you're starting to get booked now, maybe on Pay to Play as direct. Okay, maybe now it's time I really go after like a top tier agent. I have, you know, the bookings under my belt. I have the solid demo. I'm gonna go for it. Really analyze and be strategic because you'll know and you'll know not just like you'll know on paper, you'll know internally in your heart when it's time for that step. Right now I just feel I could be so happy with the bookings I have now. I'm just working on being a better actor because I think that's what I need to do in order to do better. Like I'm doing great. I could float this my whole life, but I don't want to. I do want to see how far I could go. And so I'm really checking myself, having that humility going, "Okay, let's perfect your acting. Let's go be a better actor." So that's what I'm focused on right now and that's how I know I'm in that plateau. I'm like, "Well, everything on paper looks good, but internally something's off. So let's go let's listen to that and just perfect yourself as an actor." And that I think that's where it goes down to a lot is like checking your performance.
Yeah. So
So sorry,
I
that was a long answer.
I love long answers. Honestly, this is the format
Great.
for it. Podcasts, heck yeah, we love long answers. Um, so you are someone who I constantly hear about within different coachings or workshops, or like I'm constantly picking up little tips from you from the things that you'll share on in the Discord
Amazing.
group. You'll be like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I'm going to this one. I've checked out this one.
Yeah.
I once did something with this one. This is my coach and this person." You seem like all of these things where obviously you've been working hard, you switched over into this and you had a lot of good luck with it. But you also
Yeah.
seem like you buckled down and said, "All right, buddy, it's coaching time and we're going to coach like crazy."
Yes. Absolutely. Like, that's why I feel like I haven't coached commercially in a long time. And since the beginning, because I was just like, I'm getting booked commercially. Let me focus on video games. But I also think if you can financially invest a bulk amount of money, I learned like doing one coaching session here and there doesn't really help you. Like, really go after the 4-week classes, like Actors Connection.
Mm.
And I did that animated Paul Liberty class. After I took that, that's when I got that character call back. And like doing like a 4-week program that ingrained it, if you can,
Yeah.
that's the best. But before you do anything, invest as much as you can financially, mentally, physically into performance, into workshops, and coaching, because I think we just sometimes we want these like instant things. We think buying the best microphone is going to get you. It's not. Like, I got road noise sometimes and some sounds in here, and I still get booked. One, I know how to treat it again, but because I have that delivery right now.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely immerse yourself into the art of voiceover and get yourself in front of as many people as you can. I really think it's important. That's why we have that. Did I send that? Did you see that? The sound in the fury.
The sound in the furry.
The furry. I say sound in the fury. Different place.
Different place.
Sound in the. So I can't even say furry because I just want to say fury.
Tina Marasco has it stuck in your head.
Sound in the Furry has a casting director workshop. Like, getting in front of someone like that is priceless and
Yeah.
very affordable. This was like a 3-hour workshop and it was $125.
Yeah.
So stuff like that too. But knowing I probably wouldn't have done that early on. Like, I'm not quite ready to get in front of a animation casting director.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not quite confident. I don't want to ruin a perception. So again, being strategic on knowing when it's time to do that, you know?
Yeah. And like, so I love when I'm in coaching classes or receiving coaching, whether that's through a free workshop or something else, that is when I feel like I'm suddenly doing my best performances around those, because
Yeah.
it's so fresh in my mind. And something I
Yes.
always feel the need to point out, because when I first started this, admittedly, when I first got into voiceover, I did not always listen to the feedback and performances of other people. And
There's a lot
now,
going on though sometimes when that happens.
yeah.
You know? You're just like, okay, but that suck. What do people think? Yeah. So keep going. Yeah.
But when I actually sit and listen to the feedback that these casting directors or coaches or talent are giving to other people about their performance, I get such beautiful little things where it's like, oh, I
Light
know
bulb.
all those things, but you just put it in words in that order that just
Yeah.
suddenly, light bulb clicked. And like, my most recent one was in a casting director workshop or seminar with the women who started the Broadcasters, which they do a lot of commercial work. Lisa Fishoff is the person. That's who it is.
Oh, cool.
And she said to somebody in there, I feel like that performance you just gave was you trying to be the final spot, in the sense of like, the person gave a performance as if the EQ effects, everything was on them. And it took so much away
Ooh.
from their read because they were trying to talk like you would hear in the final spot.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
authenticity was missing because they were, I recommend you shop at, like, almost that announcer thing came out because they were thinking of like, how's this going to sound
Yeah.
once they make this thing? Like,
Ooh, that's so true.
and when she said that, I was like, yeah, I've done
Light
that.
bulb, yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, coaching, I can't say enough good things about coaching. And I don't think coaching needs to be a barrier that keeps you from doing all the things that get you into voiceover. Like, I've been performing and auditioning and all of that for the last year, and coaching alongside it. But it does, like, recognizing how important the coaching element is,
Yep.
really
Yep.
does get you into the right headspace,
Yep.
like, in big
Yep.
ways.
1000% yes. Couldn't agree more.
So how do you celebrate your wins? Because you get some really, really big ones. And I know in this industry how when you're not hitting the wins, sometimes it's really hard to think there's anything worth celebrating.
I know.
But
I
there
know.
very much is, 100%. So I'm curious, how do you, I guess this question is really more of a, like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay in it? How do you keep yourself going, whether things are going great or things are challenging?
I think immersing myself in a good network of people, like this Discord,
Mm.
having a group of people you can be transparent with about your experiences, really finding a good like camaraderie within the industry is important. And be careful, because when you do get too involved, then you might start seeing just this influx of information and like other people's wins, and you might start questioning. But having like a good solid foundation of people you can go to, gripe about it, find coworkers basically, because we don't really have that luxury with what we do. But we found a whole entire corporation in the Discord now, Andrew. Like the
Yes.
Scrappy VO is my favorite job. And I think just finding good people that don't just like celebrate wins, that are transparent with like flubs and hardships is so important. Like go on LinkedIn and connect, but also find a good internal group that can be like your little cubicle buddy that you can go to, like how we have in this Discord, because I think that will motivate me.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to be transparent, even when I have losses. Like I've lost a client before because I couldn't do the read they wanted. I gave it to Elena, she killed it. And like knowing that like that's happened to me, and if I knew that's happened to other people, it would make me feel better. And not as like, well, I suck, that's not happening to anyone else. So finding someone that you can share the wins, the losses, the hards, all the great stuff, the good and the bad, is so important to keep you like focused and up to date, but also humbled and like not alone.
Yeah. Like as somebody who does consider themselves very introverted, I enjoy sitting in my little padded room here by myself, talking and playing into a microphone. But everything felt so much better when I had my people.
Yeah.
When we could just hop into a room and suddenly it's like we're all standing around the cooler,
Yep.
joking around and
Gabbing, yeah.
yeah, I have Morgan saying, "Andrew, what do you think about that?" And I'm like, "That's a great question, Morgan. I don't know."
You always had good insight. Are you kidding?
It
I
it
love
really
it.
did. Like you pulled me into
Oh,
so many people have been like great, but you were somebody who like
yeah.
pulled me out of the shell I was trying to place myself in when I first jumped into Discord, because I didn't use Discord a ton
you.
beforehand. Like this group is
Oh,
one of the biggest like
yeah.
Discord interactions I've had. And
Well,
yeah.
everyone knows who you are now. I was talking to Luca today. She was like, "Do you want to FaceTime? Because we're going to the One Voice conference in Dallas in August together.
Oh.
Because it's in my state, so I gotta go." And I was like, "Oh, I'm going on this podcast with Andrew, you know." And she's like, "I love
Luca's great, honestly. I got to meet
Yeah.
Luca through Positively Voiceover through Gina Scarpa.
Gina. Yeah, Gina's
Yes.
the best too.
Oh my gosh. That is another Discord group that I have been engaged
Yep.
with for a while. And that voiceover people are
best.
like some of the best people.
They are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
There was something there.
I feel like any kind of creative field, it's like they're either the best people in the world or the absolute worst, and there's like no in between. I've never met someone in the industry where I was like, "You're okay." Like I'm like, no, I either freaking love you or you terrify me, and I don't want anything to do with you. But that's probably just people in general. I mean, have you ever really met someone where you're like, meh, indifferent?
Definitely.
No.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Not in this industry.
Yeah.
But just people in general, I'll
In
walk down the
society.
street. Yeah, in society, I'll be like, you know what?
No.
You keep on walking.
Any kind of creative space you have, wolves. I'm just so grateful for what we have. We have such a good group of people, all different levels, all different backgrounds. It's just great.
And the most wholesome freaking hearts. Just, God.
I know.
Such a loving and
Yeah.
supporting group. Get
It
your
really
group,
is.
people. Everybody get your group. Get your
You
people.
come to our group.
If you need people, we will adopt you into our people.
Yes. We're very adoptable. Or adopted. We're
Morg-
gonna adopt you.
Morgan's going to look at you and say, I don't know. What do you think about that?
You have the floor. Senator of Georgia has her. What do they do in Congress? I don't know. That's funny.
So has there ever been a time, I guess, because you've had some big ones, you've stuck through this, and I want to stay respectful in your time as I'm going through this.
Mm-hmm.
So I am curious, was there ever a time while winging it where you said, you know what, all done, I can't do this thing anymore? Like in the world of like, how did you know? Was there ever a time where there was something where you just realized you had invested a lot of time into it, but c'est la vie, I'm all done?
Yeah, well, it's like a temporary all done. Like when I first got my demo, I reached out to all the big, except like Atlas in New York, because I'm already with Access. I reached out to like CSD, SBV, um, and nothing. I have not got signed. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not your time right now to get an LA rep or that big manager, and that's okay. Like you got 3 good representations right now that are really sending you stuff consistently weekly. It's all different. You know what? We're done, right? We're gonna like put that on the back burner. Let's go and focus on your performance. Let's get some more coaching. Let's really do some consistent coaching, because you haven't really in a while, besides one class. Like you've been doing sporadic stuff, but you're realizing like this isn't working. I need to do something like back to back. So that was like when I did not get an LA bite, that was when I was like, it's okay. We're done with that for now. I am content. I'm going to focus on being a better actor and move forward. And I feel really good about that right now. There's so many times I think we all get very impatient because you see somebody that you love and respect get a big win, like, oh, I just signed with CSD. And you're like, well, shit, I need to get on CSD. Or I just did this class and now I have a callback. Oh, I need to go take that class and I need to. So it's like, yeah, it was that for me. Putting it away, knowing like I'm doing everything I should be doing. Let's keep going. It's okay. It's not a no right now. It's just a not right now. It's a no. It's a not right now, not a no.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay. Yeah.
I love that because what it's given me in my mind, and I love the little visuals of things that help me understand the world. So, like, it gives me this idea of, okay, I hit my season finale on this thing,
Yes.
and it's got a
Yes, for now.
cliffhanger
Yes.
season finale. I can't wait to see next season, but everybody's got to take a break until next season.
Yep.
And then the
Yep.
next
And
season
that's
comes
what we're
around,
doing.
and you have an opening thing where it's like suddenly your coming of age story starts taking off in that thing. I like that.
Yep. And you know something that worked out in my favor? I'll give you another like parallel to that. When I reached out to Shepherd Agency, which they're just a voiceover agency out of Austin, I was really excited because I was like, ooh, like this, I'm gonna be moving to the Austin area. Like this, I could like meet my agent in person. And I reached out and we had a couple correspondence back and forth like the day I reached out. And then I was like, okay. And then I followed up, did not hear from them for a month. And then last Friday or Memorial Day weekend, the Friday before, I got signed. And I was like, I thought that was a signed, sealed, like done, not happening. That's
Yeah.
okay. Did not hear from them for a month after even following up. And then I got signed. So like, I was just like, okay, it's okay. That's not for you right now. You're fine.
Yeah.
And then it worked out. It was patience. Full
Yeah.
circle.
You're like, okay, the season has ended, but the Christmas special just
But
came out.
Exactly. The BTS is here.
I love that.
Surprise. Yeah.
So once again, thank you. Oh,
You're welcome.
so very much for all of this time that you have spent here. I always keep an eye
I
on
had
like,
a
okay,
blast.
we're just about to an hour here.
Oh,
I
you're
always like,
on it. You're on it. Yeah.
I came from a world with like people on tight schedules, so I'm just like, and this is a world of people on tight schedules, like
Yeah,
performances.
sometimes. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. It depends on the day, because sometimes I ain't booked, baby, and I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs.
You and I have sat in the water cooler for like 3 hours
Yeah.
before, just like shooting the heck back and forth
Yeah.
with everyone.
I always say if I'm posting on social media creating content, I ain't booked. I ain't got time for that when I'm booked.
Oh, I've seen you on Instagram so much lately.
Oh yeah, it's just picking up the last 2 days. That's why I was on there. Morgan was not booked.
Well, how can, speaking of Instagram and other things, how can people stay in touch with you? Like, for any of the audience that jumps in here, you're a phenomenal person, and I think the world wants to hire you for all the things,
Thank you.
including Netflix, Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network, Pokemon.
They need to hire you immediately. So how can they get in touch
Yes.
with you?
They can go to the.morgan.taylor on Instagram.
The
Or go to
dot.
Morgan Taylor. Yeah, the.morgan.taylor. On Instagram, follow me, DM me. You can go to morgantaylorproductions.com. My email and stuff is there. Just stop asking me to be a brand ambassador for your MLM type scheme of athletic apparel.
We're not into
Get that?
schemes. We don't want schemes.
You know what I'm I'm talking about? Where it's like,
Yes.
let us help you fix your Instagram. Let us send you these 4 free items. No, you bot.
Yep. No, no
Yeah.
thank you. Don't tag me
No,
in
thank
anything.
you. No, thank you.
Once again, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Morgan.
Adrian.
Honestly, like you are such an inviting person, and just
You're
the
the
amount of
best.
friendliness that you exude and professionalism that you bring into this group is, I think, inspirational for any of the new participants and
Thank
the
you.
current ones, of course. But
Thank you.
it means a lot that you got to do this, so thank you.
Well, thank you. I can't wait to listen. You're the best.